Tonight on the Black Channel, the GOP's registered bootlicks have decided that after all this time, they're here to cash in their butter biscuit tickets that they sold their souls for. Got a feeling things are not going to turn out at all the way they would like. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically Black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. Join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, we've actually got a few things in particular that I would like to cover. A few things in particular here. First of all, before I go any further, because it is very easy to forget certain other things here. This week, of course, we celebrate the birthday of our immortal revolutionary Malcolm X. We celebrate that because it reminds us of where we are and where we need to go. Malcolm X's generation did not show him the proper esteem. Malcolm X's generation did not love and honor the prophets. Malcolm X's generation was unworthy of him, but the children were not. I cannot say rest in peace to Malcolm X because Malcolm X is not dead. I cannot say rest in power to him because he's not resting. Malcolm is alive and well. As a matter of fact, he is more alive today than he was then. He is more of a force today than he was then. At the end of Spike Lee's movie, when he had even Nelson Mandela saying, "I am Malcolm X," by any means necessary, just understand something. The genie isn't out of the bottle. The genie has swept the world. So we must remember this. We must. So this week we honor that. And also this week, as you all have heard here, or most of you may have heard, Jim Brown has passed away this week. Jim Brown has passed away. Jim Brown, who, for the most part, I understand that in recent years there have been some stumbles on his behalf. I certainly understand that. I try to give respect where respect is due. And I think that in many ways, Jim Brown earned our respect. I think it also tells us about making sure we have consistency. That can be very difficult sometimes, but Jim Brown passed away here also, so I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that as well. And while we're doing that, I wanted to look at some other things. Now, I know where you would think I would start on tonight's program. But that is not actually where I wish to start. I wish to start with somebody else. I wish to start with this lying, degenerate, mentally unhinged, evil bastard. And I am calling him what he is. This is a special type of evil. Daniel Cameron is a particular type of evil. He's not a bad person. He's not a wrong person. He's not just wicked. There's wicked and then there's evil. This is the kind of grinning, boot-licking bastard who would skin his mama alive for the joy and entertainment of the white supremacist masses. And no, I am not being hyperbolic. From none other than Fox Noise, Trump-backed candidate Daniel Cameron wins the GOP primary for governor of Kentucky. So now we see what the carrot was that they were holding up for him. Now we see what it was they were offering. Now we see what it was they were taking him in the back rooms and offering him. Hey, you know, if you don't rock the boat, might be able to make something happen for you here. Now you know what it was for. They're saying that he's going to be going up against the current governor, Democrat Andy Beshear. The story says Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron has won the state's Republican gubernatorial primary and will face incumbent Democratic Governor Andy Beshear in the November general election. Cameron, a rising star in the party, really, came out on top in a crowded field of 12 Republican candidates that included former UN Ambassador Kelly Craft and Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles. His campaign had the backing of former President Donald Trump in a contentious race that served as a proxy fight between the Republican presidential frontrunner and a number of other presidential heavyweights, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, who both backed Craft. So they were backing those two white supremacists, DeSantis and Ramaswamy. We covered Ramaswamy already. They were backing UN Ambassador Kelly Craft. So basically, I want you all to understand, there are no heroes in this story. This can be very, very daunting for people to understand. When you read something like this and you're like, okay, which side is the good side? There is no good side. Which one's the lesser of two evils? They're both equally as reprehensible. They're both equally as bestial. They're both equally as deplorable. So there isn't. This is a competition between villains. This is a competition between serial killers. There are no heroes in this election. No one here is a redeemable individual. So you're watching a contest of villains. That's what I'm telling you. This is an election between choosing the wicked and the evil. They're all villains here. There are no good guys. Just bad guys, worse guys, evil guys, terrible guys. There are no good people here. It goes on to say here that Kraft also had the high-profile endorsements of Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and House Oversight Committee Chairman Representative James Comer, while Quarles had the commanding support of Kentucky farmers. What is going on in these Kentucky elections? One person had the support of a bunch of people who don't live in Kentucky, and the other one had the support of that overwhelming, powerful bloc called the farmers. All right. Can't remember the last time I saw a candidate fighting for the farmers' votes. Not saying that farmers don't matter. I'm just saying I didn't know that they were a persuasive, influential voting bloc. I was unaware. So, gonna have to re-examine Kentucky under new eyes. Cameron will now face what is expected to be a tough fight against Beshear, who polls say is one of the most popular governors in the country, despite being one of the nation's few Democratic governors of a red state. The race is widely expected to be a bellwether for the 2024 presidential and congressional elections, as Republicans hope to capitalize on the unpopularity of President Joe Biden and congressional Democrats. The super PAC supporting Trump's third run for the presidency released a statement once the race was called for Cameron, touting the win as proof of the former president's continued hold over the GOP. Now, listen to this. This is from President Trump's super PAC talking about Cameron's win, although it's kind of hard to tell. It says, quote, President Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. The results in Kentucky's Republican gubernatorial primary tonight reaffirm that. Republican voters stand with President Trump, not Ron DeSantis. Make America Great Again Incorporated spokesperson Alex Pfeiffer said in a statement, It's time to unite around Donald Trump. Voters know that President Trump has their interests in mind when he endorses a candidate, not the interests of the consultant class. Did you notice he didn't mention Daniel Cameron's name? By the way, did you notice that you didn't mention Cameron's name? It was just the results in Kentucky's. He didn't thank Cameron. He didn't congratulate him. He didn't even mention his name. He walked straight past Cameron and said, okay, let's talk about me. Do you understand how dumb you got to be to sit up here and not recognize what the hell is going on? And don't worry, Cameron's a pretty dopey, dumb individual. So believe me, he doesn't see any of it. He's just sitting there with that same old chiseled grin on his damn face. I ain't worried about that right there. I mean, Donald's the man. All right. Bashir responded to Cameron's victory in a statement celebrating his own Democratic primary win and describing it as a stark difference from the Republican race. Quote, while they're trying to pit us against each other, people in Kentucky know that this isn't about right versus left. It's about getting things done. I want Kentucky to be a place where all of our kids have a future. As a father, interesting for a guy who champions trans women as women, but all right. Cameron avoided members of the media following his victory speech at the Galt House in downtown Louisville. Fox News Digital observed his campaign abruptly pull him away from the area in front of the stage where reporters were gathering to ask him questions and quickly usher him to another room. His campaign also ignored requests for him to speak with Fox following his win. Yeah, looks like they're already handicapping him. You've served your purpose. Well, what purpose is that? You might wonder. What purpose was that? For those of you who may have forgotten, why in the world is Daniel Cameron so important? Why does Jason Black consider him to be one of the chief villains of our time? This is why. Daniel Cameron is the Attorney General of the state of Kentucky. Daniel Cameron was Attorney General when Breonna Taylor, a woman who was in her house in the middle of the night, got gunned down, shot 8 times, completely naked in her own home. Breonna Taylor was gunned down by police on a bogus warrant from a bogus investigation that was proven to be bogus, proven to be completely fabricated, shot 8 times, naked in her home. But then again, I guess in her case, that would be the ultimate weapon because your blackness is a weapon. Therefore, she was ultimately weaponized. And Daniel Cameron went to work to show the white supremacist establishment that he is ready to give mind, body, and soul. By the way, that's him with his wife. No, she ain't mixed. That's him with his wife. He is every type of goofy, sweater-wearing Carlton Banks reject. If y'all want to know why it is, we don't want none of them niggas around. They don't trust him. Here he is right here. This is Exhibit A. He is a traitorous bastard of the worst degree. And he rubber stamped the murder of Breonna Taylor, and now we see why it was. Now we see why he did it. He did it because he was hoping that he could get their help. He needed to show them that his support for them was written and etched in blood. That was what he wanted to show everyone, that his support for them was written and etched in blood. If you all now remember who Daniel Cameron was and you hold him in equal contempt as I do, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and may he roast in hell. Give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 2,600 people watching live right now. Hit the fire emoji and hit the likes button for me. Now you know what he did it for. Now you know why he did it, and now you know what he did it for. Back in News 1 in 2022, last year, hasn't even been a whole year yet. He was dead wrong. Breonna Taylor's mother calls out Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Cameron decided not to charge any of the officers after a grand jury investigation in 2020. Breonna Taylor might finally be getting justice, but her family and everyone fighting for her cause believe Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron should be held accountable for his inaction. By the way, should have known about that too. For all these media mouthpieces trying to claim that Joe Biden was going to do something. On Thursday, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that the DOJ arrested and charged 4 Louisville officers involved in the police raid that led to the death of Breonna Taylor over 2 years ago. They were charged with violating her Fourth Amendment rights. That was all. That was it. The federal charges announced today allege that members of the police investigation unit falsified the affidavit used to obtain the search warrant in Ms. Taylor's home, and that this act violated federal civil rights laws, and that those violations resulted in Ms. Taylor's death. They're not being charged accordingly. Death is not a Fourth Amendment. The right to live is not a Fourth Amendment right. That's murder. After the news of the indictments, Breonna Taylor's family joined Ben Crump and other social activists at a press conference at Jefferson Square in Louisville. During the press conference, speakers took their turns addressing the crowd and media members about the importance of the DOJ's charges. They also criticized Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who, after a grand jury investigation in 2020, decided not to charge any of the officers. His decision not only sparked outrage in the community, but also led to jurors publicly stating that Cameron's team limited them in what charges they could consider. We'll get to that there in just a moment. It says, "Today is overdue, but it still hurts," said Breonna Taylor's mom, Tamika Palmer, during the press conference. "Everyone sent to break me. I ate that." That meaning Daniel Cameron. You don't need to be where you are, and you need to go. And if we don't continue to eat him, one of y'all is on the menu next. Holding back tears, she continued to express her feelings for Cameron. "He was dead wrong," she said. "It didn't start with him, but he had a chance to do the right thing, and he chose not to. If the Justice Department could find reasonable evidence to charge the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death, Daniel Cameron could have as well. But he didn't, and the community isn't happy about that. Even though some type of justice has been served for the family of Taylor, Cameron is still AG. If folks really want him gone, they'll have to do it through the ballots in November." That's bull crap. Daniel Cameron should be facing charges. Jason, why do you say that? I say that because of this and more. What he did was criminal. I say that because of this and more, for those of you who've forgotten. Just in case you forgot, 3 Breonna Taylor jurors filed petition to impeach Attorney General Daniel Cameron. On what grounds? 3 jurors in the Breonna Taylor case have filed a petition to impeach Attorney General Daniel Cameron, accusing him of committing, quote, misdemeanors in office that include lying to them about the Taylor investigation. The petition, filed with the State House of Representatives on Friday, accuses Cameron of lying repeatedly to citizens about what was presented to the grand jury reviewing the March 13th fatal shooting of Taylor by Louisville police. The grand jurors, who are not identified in the petition — by the way, y'all remember, the grand jurors wanted to be identified. For those of you who don't know, the grand jurors wanted to be identified, but the law won't allow them to identify themselves. Remember, in this case, and Mike Brown and others, the jurors have wanted to come out and identify themselves. But during the grand jury process, they say, no, you're not allowed to identify yourself. You can't tell people that you are a part of the grand jury. It says the grand jurors, who are not identified in the petition, claim Cameron and his employees excluded information from jurors and misled them and citizens in hopes of generating an outcome that would lead to political gain and, quote, satisfy Cameron's political ambitions. Quote, the grand jurors did not choose this battle, said Kevin Glogauer, the jurors' attorney, in a statement. This battle chose them. These are randomly selected citizens who were compelled to sit on a grand jury and were terribly misused by the most powerful law enforcement official in Kentucky. The impeachment petition is the third filed with the legislature during the 2021 General Assembly, a 30-day session in which lawmakers must tackle a state budget. Kentucky law says that the House of Representatives, quote, shall refer the petitions to a committee. The GOP-controlled House has created an impeachment committee chaired by Louisville Representative James Nemes, Republican, who told WDRB News last week that the state law governing impeachments ought to be re-examined in light of the petitions this year. Yeah, as soon as they start taking the loss, all of a sudden, wait a minute, it's time for us to change the law. If the law doesn't work in our favors, oops, time to change it. Time to change the law. Folks, these are Richard Spencer white supremacists. These are not politicians. These are Richard Spencer white supremacists. Remember what Richard Spencer told me in my groundbreaking documentary, Race War? He does not believe in fairness. He doesn't believe in fairness. There's power and then there's unpowered. There is no unfair. Unless, of course, it's happening to him. Now, if it's happening to them, then it's unfair. But there's nothing that the white supremacists can do that is unfair. Now, anything that happens to him, there can be unfair. But other than that, no, ain't no unfair. No. In early January, 4 citizens petitioned to impeach Governor Andy Beshear over his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. The effort came after the Kentucky Supreme Court unanimously ruled in November that Beshear's executive orders during the pandemic were legal and necessary. Also this month, a group of 10 Kentuckians sought to impeach Representative Robert Goforth, a Republican from Laurel County, who allegedly choked a woman with an Ethernet cable. Talk about bringing high-speed internet, and tried to, quote, hog-tie her during a domestic dispute. Damn! The impeachment petition accuses Goforth of, quote, misdemeanors in office, such as breaching public trust. Yeah, don't trust him around wires. That's for damn certain. Don't trust him around wires, fiber optic cable, or coaxials. Oh man, that chick should have stuck with DSL. He was trying to hog-tie her with a Ethernet cable. He choked her with an Ethernet cable. She should have stuck with DSL or dial-up. In any case, despite fears by some that the impeachment procedure has been politicized, Glogauer said his client's signatures on the petition against Cameron weren't driven by politics. Quote, the grand jurors have no interest in politics, and to that end, I think it's also important to note that they have no interest in making a name or any type of money for themselves out of this. The grand jurors are doing what they think is right as grand jurors and as citizens of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Now, it says here that besides criticism of the Taylor case, the impeachment petition filed Friday claims Cameron used her name talking about Breonna, in a joking or political manner at last summer's Republican National Convention, quote, inflicting further severe and permanent emotional distress on her friends and family. Is also accused of the Attorney General of inciting and supporting insurrection and violence in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. So you all have to understand here that this is what he did, and there were folks who were not on board with it. The jurors in the Taylor case have gone public with complaints about Cameron and the investigation multiple times since the Attorney General announced on September 23rd that only one officer would be indicted and not for shooting Taylor. The grand jurors have said they believe additional charges should have been considered against other Louisville Metro Police officers involved in the raid. Cameron's attorneys recommended wanton endangerment charges against former LMPD Detective Brett Hankinson for shooting into an apartment near Taylor's unit. So not for shooting at her, but shooting in an adjacent apartment. The jury indicted Hankinson on those charges. Hey, you're blasting in the wrong direction. That tells you right there that this was reckless at least. That tells you right there it was criminal at least. That tells you that. Taylor, 26, was shot 6 times, depends on who you listen to on that, and killed when officers raided her apartment near Pleasant Ridge Park as part of a larger narcotics investigation. The jurors claim Cameron's attorneys did not go into details of Kentucky's self-defense law or go through, quote, every homicide offense, as Cameron said he did in his press conference that day. Cameron has said the officers were justified in returning fire after Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, first fired a single shot from inside the apartment as police entered. That's their version of the events. And he said grand jurors agreed with that finding. The grand jurors now saying differently. The jurors claim that is untrue and that Cameron misled the public in his, quote, hour-long national press conference. And the jurors said Cameron lied to the public about what evidence was put before the grand jury, even claiming that certain evidence, quote, did not exist. Cameron's actions exposed the grand jurors to, quote, public condemnation by laying responsibility for the proceedings' results at their feet. So people there at the time were saying something's wrong. Jurors on the grand jury were saying, hey, this guy is lying about what happened with us. He's lying about what he did. He's lying about what he said, and it's all intended to gain political points. They were saying it then. I'm saying it now to remind you. Daniel Cameron is a low-life animal of the worst nature. He is a soulless, gutless demon. He's a demonic entity. Now I'm just going to watch anything else that I wish to say since I'm on YouTube. But roasting in hell is too good for him. Roasting in the fires of hell and the lake of fire and brimstone would be too pleasurable for him. I have to go look into the book of Revelation and say, you got something worse than that fire and brimstone thing? You got something worse than that? Let me check through here and see. Want to make sure we covered all of our bases. I'm almost certain we can come up with something worse. I'm almost certain we can find something worse. Because the punishment should fit the crime. But this is the reason why we as black people have to recognize that when you see the warning signs that someone has exited the community, understand something, people. I've been saying this to you for years. Recognize this and hear it again because I've said it to you for years. Cooning is not harmless. Coons and buck dancers and traitors are not harmless. Many of you have wanted to believe that they are harmless. No, they are not. They're not harmless. Coons are dangerous. Coons are deadly. Coons take lives. Coons get people killed. There is literal blood on Daniel Cameron's hands. Coons are not harmless. Coons are radically deadly. They are radically lethal. They will get people killed by the hundreds, thousands, or millions. Coons are not harmless. This is not a difference of opinion. The reason why it is that we take the off-code immigrant class to task the way that we do is because they haven't regulated their in-house coons. And because they failed to regulate them, we've now got a deadly, dangerous situation sitting at our doorstep. Cooning ain't harmless. Coons are dangerous. They're deadly. They're lethal. They're terminally hazardous. Coons are deadly. And you've got to remember it and respond accordingly. Coons ain't harmless. This isn't a figure of speech, and it's not about freedom of speech. They're dangerous. Especially if if their opinions are allowed to gain power, or if the individual is allowed into a position of power. Coons are dangerous. By the way, Daniel Cameron's not the only one throwing his jughead crown into the ring, hoping for approval. Everyone's favorite longtime bootlick, Tim Scott, the man who never got the memo and never got the phone call, is about to get yet another wake-up call. This jackass, he thinks he's running for president. He's not. He thinks he is, but he ain't. Nobody told him, Tim, you ain't running for president. You're just filing paperwork and paying the $2,500 fee. You ain't running for nothing. You're just, apparently Joe Biden must have gave Tim Scott some of his crack. That's all I can imagine. Joe Biden slid some of his crack or his meth over to Tim Scott. And Tim is like, damn, this 8-ball. I think I run for president. Oh, that was good. So they got him on a wild ass Friday, and he's just like, man, I'm floating off this 8-ball. Let me go fill out some paperwork for president. I think I can be president. He messed around and filled out the paperwork before he came down off his high. Yeah, he messed around and filled out the paperwork before he came down off his high. He was doing good till he got lit up. And he got on that high, and he was just like, oh, man, I think I can do it. I think I can make it. I feel like I can get there. Tim, you can't. You can't make it. It ain't gonna happen. I would say you're the comic relief, but you ain't even really that funny. Save yourself the damn money, Negro. You could have put a down payment on a used car. Now this is Fox News, people. Listen to this. This is Fox News. Folks, Fox News. Listen to what they say. Republican Senator Tim Scott files to run for president in 2024. First sentence. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, a rising star in the GOP. Wait a minute. Where have I heard this before? Oh, yeah, this is that little token thing they keep handing out to everybody. Hello, Stacey Abrams. Rising star, as if that has some tangible value. But moving right along, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, a rising star in the GOP, is jumping into the race for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. Scott, the only black Republican in the Senate, filed paperwork with the Federal Elections Commission to seek the office of presidency campaign filing show. Folks, they couldn't let this man sit up here and make his announcement. I thought race didn't matter. I thought race didn't matter over there at Fox. I thought we don't need to be pointing out the color of people's skin. Fox, why did you need to say that he's the only black Republican in the Senate? Why? Why does that matter, Fox? What's the problem? This is Fox pointing it out. By the way, he's the only black Republican in the Senate, just in case you can't see our pictures of him on our webpage. Just in case you can't see the picture, we want to make sure you read the story. He's the only black Republican in the Senate. Man, look here. They didn't, even on Fox News' website, they're already outing him. They're already painting the narrative. You know, he is the only black Republican in the Senate. Yeah, he's the only one. Second sentence, y'all. You ain't gonna make it halfway through. Second sentence. Second sentence. The only black Republican. Tim, they ain't on your team. I don't know how to explain it to you. Any other way. They ain't on your team. The only fellow who thinks they're colorblind is you. Boy, ain't this gonna be messed up, y'all, when Tim winds up getting his legs cut out from under him the way that, what's his name, Michael Steele did. Ain't that gonna be bad? Isn't that gonna be, y'all, Tim getting ready to go Black Panther up in here. Tim is gonna have a beret and a leather jacket and an armband and black gloves and some sunshades. Oh, Tim about to flip out when they get done with him. Oh, Tim's about to flip out. He ain't gonna be able to handle this. He's not gonna be able to handle it. It's gonna break his soul. It's gonna shatter his psyche. Tim is not gonna make it, y'all. He ain't gonna make it. When they get done with him, boy, Tim is gonna be the biggest black radical in Washington. He's gonna come there on the Senate floor playing NWA. He's going to be wearing an X t-shirt playing NWA. Oh, it's going to be ugly when they get through with Tim. It's going to be ugly. All right. The GOP senator launched a $6 million ad campaign in key presidential primary states on Friday ahead of a scheduled campaign announcement May 22nd. Scott joins former President Donald Trump in the race for their party's nomination. Trump launched his third White House bid in mid-November. Following Scott's filing for a presidential run, the South Carolina Democratic Party chair promised to hold him accountable for his record. Here in South Carolina, we know how dangerous Tea Party extremist Tim Scott is, and based on the last few weeks, the rest of America is finding out too, said Crystal Spain in a statement. From promising to sign the most conservative abortion ban possible as president, okay, that's not dangerous, ma'am, to doubling down on his role as architect of the 2017 GOP tax scam, baby, if this is the best you got, you might as well go ahead and leave him alone now. That pushed tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy at the expense of working families, Scott has proven himself to be just as MAGA as the rest of the 2024 field. South Carolina Democratic Party, y'all need a new spokesperson. Yeah, the South Carolina Democratic Party, yeah, y'all need a new spokesperson. If she's the best you can do, you need a new spokesperson. You really, really do. Thank you very much, Nancy King in the super chat. You are amazing too. By the way, can you all read the lettering on here? Can you read this lettering here? Tim Scott is going all out, y'all. He's going all out. Senator Tim Scott, a Republican from South Carolina, speaks. This photograph is him speaking during the Republican Jewish Coalition annual leadership meeting in Las Vegas on November 19, 2022. The Republican Jewish Coalition, and he didn't jump out there in front of them. I wonder if he offered Republican Jews the same thing that he offers black folk. I wonder if he went there offering them the same thing that he offers us. Or if he went there offering something a bit different. I wonder. Got a feeling that he went there and was speaking to them radically different than the way he speaks to us. I got a feeling that's what it was. I got a feeling it wasn't the same thing he says to everyone. Pretty sure when he got in front of them, he was talking like he had some sense. Pretty sure when he got there, he was talking like he had some sense to them. Wonder if he gave them the pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing, and Israel needs to pull itself up by its bootstraps. I wonder if he gave them that talk. Israel doesn't need a handout. Do you all think he gave them that talk? Do you think he told them that Israel doesn't need a handout? Anybody think he told them that? Hey, Israel, get out of our pockets. You don't need a handout. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Get your house in order and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You don't need the military assistance of the U.S. You should be able to take care of this on your own. Shouldn't you be able to do this by yourselves? Just checking. Just checking. It says that Scott also becomes the second politician from South Carolina, the state that holds the third contest in the Republican presidential nominating calendar, to launch a presidential campaign following former two-term Governor Nikki Haley. So in other words, all the Republican rats are trying to jump out the South Carolina ship. They're all trying to jump ship now. The former ambassador to the United Nations during the Trump administration declared her candidacy on February 14th. Scott, known for his fundraising prowess, enters the White House race with his campaign coffers well stocked. Scott reported nearly $22 million in cash on hand at the end of last year, funds left over from the senator's convincing 25-point re-election victory in November in reliably red South Carolina. A pair of Scott-aligned super PACs started 2023 with roughly $16 million in the bank, thanks to contributors from numerous Republican mega donors, including Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison. Folks, if you think that YouTube nerfing our numbers, if you think that Google playing around with our websites, if you think that us being buried by these internet websites is harmless, just consider that these tech companies ain't playing around. Larry Ellison has been one of the richest men in the world now for decades. Decades. And they are putting that internet tech money to use. They ain't just sitting on it. They're putting it to use. They're using their internet money to promote and advance their agendas. So if you think that us being shortchanged and buried and shadow banned, if you think it's harmless, take a look at what these folks are doing with their internet money. Take a look at it. It says Trump, who remains the front runner most, though not all, early 2024 GOP presidential nomination polls, was in South Carolina in late January to announce his leadership team in the crucial early voting state and to showcase endorsements from Governor Henry McMaster and Senator Lindsey Graham. The Republican field is likely to get more crowded in the weeks and months ahead. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is widely expected to announce a presidential run in coming weeks. Among the others making moves towards launching a campaign or seriously considering a Republican presidential run are former Vice President Mike Pence, forget about it, former Governor Doug Burgum of North Dakota, Governors Chris Sununu of New Hampshire, Kristi Noem of South Dakota, and Glenn Youngkin of Virginia. So basically, they're loading up the clown car for the GOP. Basically, the Republican Party is loading up the clown car. They're stuffing as many of them as they can, as like during a drunk frat party. The GOP clown car is getting loaded up as we speak, with a bunch of people who got the same chances of winning the presidency as you and I do of flapping our arms and flying to the moon. Former Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, dude, and former Representative Will Hurd of Texas. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson has already announced a presidential run. Boy, ain't it great to be white and have so much damn extra time on your hands? Isn't that nice? It must be nice to be white and have all this damn extra time on your hands. You can sit up here and put together some bull jive ass run for president, knowing full damn well you ain't gonna make it. You just bored in the evening. Hey, they can see me on TV. Isn't that nice? That must be nice to be able to do that. Hey, I'm bored this weekend. What you gonna do? Asa, I'm coming out of retirement. I'll run for president. Ain't nothing good on TV, Netflix, nothing but reruns here. I done seen everything. Yeah, I'm running for president. See you in 6 months. Political pundits have long viewed Scott as a potential 2024 Republican presidential contender. While the senator had repeatedly demurred when asked about a White House bid, he hinted in November at a possible future run during his re-election victory celebration by telling the story of how he took his grandfather to the polls in 2012 and that his grandfather proudly voted for him as well as for Democrat Barack Obama, the nation's first black president. Well, that must have felt bad to have to tell that story. Man, imagine sitting in front of the GOP and having to tell that story. Your daddy only voted for you because you're his son. Other than that, he's like, hey, was there somebody else I could vote for? Was there a senatorial candidate with some damn sense besides my son? Y'all take a look at what the hell I done made. I'm already messed up. Let me see if I can vote for a better America because I raised this bastard here. Can we get somebody with some sense to run this in it? Quote, I wish he had lived long enough to see perhaps another man of color elected president of the United States. Tim, what the hell you... Man, what are they smoking in Washington? We all know there's sexual deviants and child molesters. Okay, I get that, but the drug use is off the damn chain. The drug use in Washington is off the damn hinges now. I wish he had lived long enough to see perhaps another man of color elected president. Like you got a chance. Like you got a chance of going. Like the nation has been waiting around all these years. Boy, I sure do hope Tim Scott run. When's the last time y'all heard anybody in the last 10 years talk about they hope Tim Scott's going to run? Yeah, I know Trump want to run again, but what we really need is Tim Scott. So tell me the last time you tuned into Fox News and that was what you heard. That the Fox News host, well, really the one everybody's looking for, that was Tim Scott, though, if he would do it. Then it's really going to get cracking. When did they do that? What the hell? It's one thing for DeSantis. DeSantis is the governor of Florida. DeSantis is Trump Jr. We get Tim Scott. Dude, you've been there for ages. Ain't nobody sat up here and jumped up. We really need Tim Scott down on Fox News. Tucker Carlson, everybody else, the person everybody's looking for is Tim Scott. Man, what the hell? It must be nice. Whatever the hell kind of crack they got in D.C., it must be fire. Folks just do crazy, talk crazy. That stuff must be epic. He's sitting here hallucinating. My dad didn't live long enough here. You can see me become president. Scott made 3 stops last year to Iowa. I hope it was a business trip, dude, because you ain't going to become president. That was just a blank trip. Let me tell you something, my dude. If you went to Iowa, I hope it was on business. I hope it was tax deductible. Because if it was for political reasons, I hate to break it to you, that was just a blank trip. I don't even know why you went. I don't even know why you were there. Scott made 3 stops last year in Iowa, the state that kicks off the GOP presidential nominating calendar to help fundraise and campaign for Republicans running in the 2022 midterm elections. He also made a couple of stops the past 2 years in New Hampshire, which for a century has held the first primary in the White House race and directly follows Iowa in the GOP presidential nominating calendar. Scott was in Charleston, South Carolina, the day after Haley formally announced her campaign to deliver a speech on Black History Month. One moment, everybody. On second thought, on second thought, that first one wasn't gonna do me. That first one wasn't gonna hold me. I'm like, yeah, I need to do a double shot on that one. That first one ain't gonna hold me. They ain't gonna do it. That first one ain't gonna hold me. Let's hear it for the Pepto people. Let's hear it for the Pepto people. That first one ain't gonna hold me. Not when I read this. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Y'all, can you imagine a Black History Month event hosted by this nigga? Folks, come on now. Can you seriously imagine a Black History Month event hosted by this nigga? Are you serious? Hosted by him or this damn jack-o'-lantern? A Black History event. What? Bruh, who showed up? Someone tell me who showed up for the Black History event hosted by Tim Scott, surrounded by nothing but white overseers. And look at him, he looks like their little buddy. He looks like their little buddy. Who the hell put together a Black History event? Now, you know, the person who best exemplifies Black history is Tim Scott. That's what we really need. Yeah, I know at the time Jim Brown was alive. I mean, there's some other folks out there, but we really need Tim Scott to represent Black folk, though. Where's Tim Scott's Black support? Someone tell me, where is Tim Scott's Black support anywhere? Anywhere. Tim Scott's knowledge of Black history started. Well, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So Black history really begins there. What about before that? Well, let's not talk about that. Let's start Lincoln. Let's start there. It gets ugly when you go back. It gets ugly when you go forward, nigga. It gets ugly as you go forward. It gets ugly before the Emancipation Proclamation and after. Scott was in Charleston, South Carolina the day after Nikki Haley formally announced her campaign to deliver a speech on Black History Month as he began a listening. What the? Oh, are there any photographs from that? I'd like to know, were there any photos? I'd like to see the pictures. No, not of him. I want to see the crowd. Who the hell in South Carolina came to see him? Who the hell came to see him? Who the hell in South Carolina came all the way down to Charleston to hear Tim Scott talk about Black History Month? Who? I want to see is like, who in the world was doing that? He came to deliver a speech on Black History Month as he began a listening tour, which was first reported by Fox News earlier this month. That tour took Scott to Iowa the following week to deliver an address on faith in America and to headline a fundraiser for Hawkeye State Republicans. What? Folks, if you want to know why Black people don't vote Republican, it's because it's some weird, wacky ass netherworld. They're outside of real life. They're outside of events. It's just some wacky ass alternate dimension. These folks ain't living nowhere near the real world. It's just some madhouse. It's like some hallucination, some crack dream, like you're tripping on PCP. What the hell? It's bad enough you got Democrats out here using trick language. Tim Scott is telling you up is down, backwards is left and right. Wait a minute, Tim, wait a minute. Backwards is left and right? Yeah, at the same time. Tim, whoa. The Democrats just said that left is right and right is left. You said backwards is left and right. Make perfect sense when you think about it. Tim. This is why we can't vote for them. Life is crazy enough. They show up and it just flips insane. It flips insane. Y'all, I'm gonna try to sit up here and keep my composure when I read this next part. Tim Scott said, quote, I think the most important thing in the mission that we have is making sure that we restore hope and create opportunities for working class Americans. He sounds like Joe Biden. We're here to bring hope. What the hell? We're going to have a Faith in America tour so that we can listen to the American people, Scott said in a recent Fox News Channel interview when asked about running for president. Quote, I look forward to continuing to hear across the country what the priorities of the American people are. Reparations, nigga! That's our priorities over here. Reparations. We need an optimistic, positive message that brings our country back together because we're in the midst of a cultural strife that we haven't seen in a number of years. Haley and Scott served together in the South Carolina legislature. Haley won the governorship in 2010, the same year as Scott's election to Congress. And 3 years later, Haley appointed Scott to fill an open Senate seat. The two have moved for many years in many of the same political circles and have shared many of the same advisors and donors and count plenty of the same people as allies, which will likely complicate matters now that the senator has joined the former governor in the 2024 nomination battle. Quote, the fact that you have the potential of two South Carolinians in the race completely changes things. Man, look here. Y'all, they smoke big rocks in the media. That's all I can tell you. Two people from South Carolina completely changes things. First of all, it don't change nothing. Second of all, they ain't gonna do nothing else. Man, look, the media they smoke rocks. Hell, rocks might not be an appropriate word anymore. They smoking bricks now. They smoking bricks. They smoking cinder blocks. It's just 24/7. I need to go on a listening tour. You don't want to hear what we gotta say. You shouldn't be on a listening tour, Tim. You don't want to hear what we gotta say. You really don't. You really don't. Folks, these are the people that the GOP keeps grabbing. Hey, Jason, why don't you all talk about the Republicans more? This? It's a damn sitcom over there. What's there to talk about? It might as well be Happy Days. It might as well be Family Folks, talk about the Republicans for what? You think this is serious? Please. There ain't nothing to talk about. What the hell I'm gonna say? This article would be more serious if I turned my damn computer monitor upside down and read it. There's nothing to talk about. There's literally nothing to discuss. I don't do drugs. And if I did, I don't do enough to sit and take this seriously. If I did do drugs, I don't do enough to make this a serious topic of discussion. Serious for what? Serious for what? Come on, man. Why don't you talk about the Republicans? Talk about this. Well, Majestic say the Rock is smoking them. Okay. They ain't smoking the Rock is smoking them. You might be right. Check the bottom of Tim's feet. If they scorched, I was like, okay. Hey, Tim, bottom of your feet is charred. Has something been smoking you lately? Folks, these folks out here, it is insane now. They have sold their souls to the devils. They have sat up here, made pariahs of themselves. All they can do now is go to these weird ass little parties that they hold for the alt-right. Can you all imagine being in a party and being stuck with damn me, Ron DeSantis on one side and Ben Shapiro on the other? Can you imagine fighting and working so you can end up in a cocktail party with damn me Ron DeSantis and Ben Shapiro? What kind of weird, wacky, whack-ass, lame-ass cocktail party is that gonna be? What the hell? Folks, I mean, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? On the state level, at the very least, if you can keep bastards like this bastard out of office, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, at the state level, yeah, keep him out. You're not voting for Biden. Hopefully you got somebody else you can vote for, hopefully. Because in Kentucky, you're stuck between the devil and the deep white sea. You sitting there, it's bad enough that they're probably going to be playing damn me country music or ska or something like. It's bad enough they're going to be doing that. Or Ted Nugent, God. Oh man, that's a political sacrifice. Can you imagine being in a building or something and you got to listen to damn me Ted Nugent for 2 hours? Oh man, I wouldn't make it to the White House. I'd commit suicide or hiri-kiri right there. I'd commit hiri-kiri right there. I'd be like, oh my God, where did my life go wrong? Ron DeSantis to my left, Ben Shapiro to my right, Ted Nugent in my eardrums. This is hell. This is hell. Somebody told me that hell was a place with fire and brimstone with a fellow with a red body stocking and a pitchfork poking you in the rump. No, it isn't. Hell is a cocktail party in Lexington. Hell is a cocktail party in Louisville with Ted Nugent playing on the Bose speaker system. A bunch of folks trying to do their flicked ass line dance. Ron DeSantis trying to tell us why we should love white folks. Ben Shapiro trying to tell us no, you should love white Jews instead. And you just sitting there. That's hell. That is hell. That's hell. And Ted Nugent just, oh my God. And you got to stay. You can't leave. I got to be here. I'm staying right here. Wow. Just wow. And you all thought the Vax That Ass Up was the worst musical interlude that could happen. You all thought that was the worst that could occur. You all thought you had heard the worst with Vax That Ass Up. Oh no, it gets much worse. It gets much worse. Ted Nugent and Kid Rock. Not even the good early years. This crazy Confederate stuff he playing now. Not even the stuff when he was still rocking with black folk. The crazy mess coming out now. Oh yeah, they'll be putting raisins in the potato salad. Be putting damn me garlic in the cornbread. Or onions in the cornbread. How many of y'all has? I'm not talking about like the little onion pieces. I'm talking about like the onion strips. I'm talking about they doing that. We at that kind of cocktail bar. We at that one. We're at that one. They got damn me gluten-free Jell-O. It's one of them kind of parties, y'all. We way past gluten-free macaroni. We got gluten-free Jell-O and gluten-free ice creams. Oh, boy. Man, look here. Man, look here. Okay. You sold your soul for this? You sold your soul for this? Really? You might get lucky. They might have some fettuccine Alfredo. You might get lucky, but then again, I'll be damned. They're going to make it their way. Have y'all been to one of these places where they got non-black people cooking? They made the damn Alfredo sauce and it's got milk, 2 cups of cream, 2 cups of milk, and half a cup of cheese. Sitting there like, I'll be damned. They brought me coffee creamer. This is not Alfredo sauce. You brought me coffee creamer. What the hell? No, I'm not voting Republican. No, I'm not coming to your damn cookouts. No, I'm not coming to your parties. I ain't eating a damn thing. I'll bring my own. I'll be the only person there with a bag from Wendy's. A bag from Wendy's and some earbuds. That'll be me. Yeah, he's the black sheep of the Republican Party. You damn right. I'm bringing my own food. I'm bringing my own earbuds. Hell, y'all just let me know when I start seeing them turn out the lights. Oh, we done? Okay. All right. All right, let me get up now. Oh, we done? All right. All right. The hell we gonna support? Y'all, being a bootlick don't even have real benefits. It's not like it's got some fly benefits. Hey, you know, if you kiss their ass long enough, you get to go to the country club party with Ted Nugent. Man, what the hell is this nigga talking? How many of y'all were in high school saying, you know what, when I really make it big, when I finally get my money right, I want to go to the golf country club with Ted Nugent? Who said that? Which one of y'all was sitting around in high school talking about, I need to go to college and get me a good job, make some good money so I can go kick it with Ted Nugent? Who? Forget about it. Stick a fork in them. They're done. They're dopey. They're goofy. They're crazy. Stick a fork in them. It's over. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, I'll see about taking your phone calls. Before I do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Nikki the Goddess, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that. Nubian Queen, thank you very much for your support as well. I appreciate that. And everyone else who is contributing here in the Super Chat here tonight, Level Up T, thank you very much as well. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we will have your phone calls and more. This is The Black Channel.
Are you ready to take the next step in your career or business? With Higher Life Recruiting and Consulting, you can get the help you need to reach your goals. Our experiences span multiple industries, giving us the ability to source top talent across various fields. We specialize in STEM and high-tech industries, but we are equally adept at recruiting and professional services. Our services include career consulting, resume writing, LinkedIn consulting, interviewing, lead generation, sourcing, and talent mapping. Follow us on Instagram at Get Higher With Us.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black First. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spiritOf1811publishing.com and show your love.
Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents, in a world driven by fear and hatred lurks a fierce assassin, the Tarpon. Armed with an insatiable appetite for death and destruction, the Tarpon's mission is to target and eliminate anyone who stands in the way of white supremacy. Enter Occam Jeffers, the fearless counter-racist hitman whose mission is to hunt down and eliminate the Tarpon once and for all. But the Tarpon is cunning and ruthless. Will Occam be able to stop the Tarpon's deadly plot, or has he finally met his match? The ultimate fight to the death begins now. God Love Us, a novel by Josiah J. Starr. In stores May 22nd, 2023. Everywhere books are sold.
Having computer problems? Is your PC or Mac running slow? Need help building a gaming PC? Having problems with your Apple or Android device? Call or text Fix Too Fast. We can fix common and uncommon computer software issues remotely, anywhere, nationwide, from the comfort of your home or business. Are you having hardware issues with your PC or Mac? Ship it to us and we will ship it back fixed. Call 1-877-412-9890 or text 513-440-1646 to speak to a technician. Please visit our website at www.fixtoofast.net.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Natural Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. My name is Joe Jackson. I'm a foundational Black American, and I entered the field of IT with the goal of helping the family globally. The industry's been changing, and I've learned a lot. But how did we get here? How do we navigate issues we face in the workplace? How can we get our house in order? Read The Concept and Intricacies of Being Black in IT, now on Amazon, as well as the best-selling Guide to Being Black in IT. Go to beingblackInIT.com.
More Threads, a brand owned by a descendant of Black American freedmen, was created to uniquely address Black American history and contributions that have been intentionally hidden and suppressed. Use their apparel and more to learn and share the Black American history of Black inventions, heroes, towns, Black business districts, and more. Sign up and support not only a Black-owned business, but a movement at www.morethread.co.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. The telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence. Big shout out here to everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. My man Jafar, thank you very much for your support, brother. We appreciate that. Mr. Richburg, as always, Mark B., Chadwick, and Keith, thank you very much for your support as well. And we are talking here tonight about the Republican Bootlick lottery. They are delusional. They're stupid. They've sold their souls. Not only is it just a bad idea in general to sell your soul, but they ain't even going to get anything for it. What they've done is they have made themselves pariahs for no reason. not for any good reason, except for one. And this is what reminds us, see, this is the thing that we've been trying to impress on our brothers and sisters from around the world in the diaspora, is that you can't let your coons just run wild. You all can't just sit back and be like, well, you know, they one of us is. All that tribalism garbage. Y'all, it don't matter if you got coons in your damn tribe. He got to go. Well, you know, brother, I mean, we are in the same tribe together. He needs to go. He's bad for the tribe. He's bad for the tribe. He has to go. Y'all sit here and just let him stick around. He done threw up them fuzzy ass house slippers he's got propped up on your table. He's sitting right there in the middle of everybody else. No, you can't do that. When these fellas show up like that, out he goes. Because they're dangerous. Down there in South Africa, down there in the Caribbean, down there in South America, you can't let coons just sit up in the middle of damn everybody else with his wool flannel sweater and his tight ass skinny jeans and them big brown penny loafers them niggas like to wear. No! Well, you know what it is. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstrap. I gotta. Nigga, you ain't even wearing no boots. Why are you so divisive? Caller from area code 708. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, I'm Bonnie from Country Club Hills, Illinois.
All right, Bonnie, what's on your mind?
I mentioned in the chat, I was curious to know, what if we are under a Republican regime with a Congress and a Senate? Do we stop asking for reparations because of the party that's in the House?
No, because your agenda isn't dependent. You don't ask for reparations because there's a party in office. You don't advance an agenda because there is a political party in office. You advance an agenda because that tells you whether or not you should be voting or not. So no, it doesn't matter who is in office. Our freedom, for example, I told folks, our freedom is not up for a vote. So no, ma'am, whoever is in office has absolutely no influence whatsoever on what agenda we push. We don't care if it's Democrat, Republican, or Martian. It doesn't matter who is there.
That.
When we show up, this is the agenda. We don't want to talk about nothing else. Like Jewish people, that'd be like asking.
Impression.
Okay, but that's like asking Jewish people or the LGBT. Well, if these folk are in office, do we still demand XYZ? The answer is yes, because it doesn't matter who's in office. Our demands are not contingent on who's in office. Our demands are contingent on our agenda.
Well, I'm glad you made it plain because I was kind of getting a different impression as I was listening to you.
I don't
initially.
know. I don't know how. How did you come to a different impression? What did I say that led you to a different impression?
You were like, in terms of Republicans, we don't have anything to do with them. That's kind of the impression that I got. And so conversely, what would it look like?
We don't have anything to do with Democrats either.
Now Republicans.
Okay, but we don't have anything to do with Democrats either, is my point.
I understand. I totally get it.
Yeah, we don't have anything to do with Democrats or Republicans. My job is to articulate the why. And what I'm doing is bringing the evidence, I'm bringing the receipts, I'm bringing the invoices, piling them up on the table. Boom, there they are. If anybody asks why you hear us talk about Democrats and stuff, it's like, well, Jason, y'all don't really talk about Republicans much at all because it's a clown car. So we do talk about them, but I'm like, this garbage here explains itself. I mean, it really doesn't take a whole lot of work from me. I could just sit up here and show the damn headlines. I'm like, oh, this writes itself. This explains itself. You don't even have to worry. You don't even have to wonder why you didn't get our support. Take a look at this headline.
Yeah, I'm thinking back on like in that moment where, that buffoon, what's his name, Steve Harvey, spoke to Trump. Then the world lost its shit. Excuse my French. You know, like in other words, I think a lot of people are still on that. And so I'm just trying to clarify. And
well, here's the problem. The problem is we don't need any people showing up in front of politicians for a photo op. The problem with Steve Harvey and them is they showing up in front of politicians to get a photo op. They're showing up in front of politicians to get publicity. We don't need niggas chasing shine and chasing publicity stunts.
But what I didn't understand was our response towards that photo op, if you will.
I just explained it's a photo op.
You know, it seems like, well, I'm just saying, I'm speaking toward response towards that photo op. You know, it's like people were all beside themselves, like, you spoke to him? And even when Ice Cube did it, it was the same kind of energy.
No, it wasn't. Okay, let's not say that. No, ma'am. No. Now, when Cube spoke to him, no, it wasn't. No, it was not. Let's not make that lie up. Ice Cube, ma'am, calm yourself down. Okay, look here, you 6-pack a day smoker. Calm yourself down. We don't talk over the host here. We don't do that.
I'm not trying to.
Okay, put the E and J to the side and put your 15-pack of cigarettes down for the day. We don't talk over the host here. That is not true. What you just said was a lie. All you're going to do is sit up here and mention these 4 worn-out dish rags on Fox Soul, and they don't matter. Ice Cube was ready to speak to anybody, but he didn't catch no flack from black people, and he didn't because he made it clear what the agenda was before he was speaking to them. He said, I want to speak to Biden about what we're going to do for black people. He said, I'll speak to Trump about what we're going to do for black people. Did Steve Harvey ever say, I want to talk to Trump about what he's going to do for black people?
No, he didn't.
Get off the phone!
Again, I'm talking about the response.
Get off my phone, you menthol light! Somebody's damn. Was that Lori Lightfoot? Was that Lori Lightfoot on the line? Was that Lori there? That might have been Lori Lightfoot on the line. That could have been. I might be wrong. That might be Lori Lightfoot sitting there. And another thing, yeah. I don't understand why it is that they had a problem talking to Trump. I don't see why. Steve Harvey and some Wheezy. Damn it, Wheezy. Get off that man's. Damn it, Wheezy, get off that man's phone. Call from area code 206. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is John calling from Seattle.
All right, John from Seattle. What's on your mind?
I wanted to pose a question. Would you agree that there's a large portion of the B1 family who have been driven to vote Republican because of the inaction by the Democrats?
If they are, I haven't seen them.
Because I do hear that a lot amongst some of the B1 and some of the Black First family that, you know, they pretty much have decided that the Republican way is the way to go if they're going to vote. Now, there are some people that don't vote, but we do have a large faction in the B1 family who are completely turned off by the inaction of the Democrats. And so a lot of them are talking about voting Republican.
I mean, you hear that from time. Well, you hear that from time to time. My thing is, I'm saying, are you voting for somebody who has a black agenda? Are you voting for somebody who's going to do something specifically for black people? So what they're telling you is that this old canard, this old trope from the civil rights generation, that somehow the Democrats are light years better than the Republicans and we're getting all these benefits from the Democrats. Basically what they're saying is that there is no difference between the Democrats and Republicans. So in that regard, they're absolutely correct. There's no difference between the two of them. You just have two political parties both trying to figure out how they can be slick enough to say nothing and then tell you that they said something. To do nothing and then say they gave you something. So that's what that's about right there. Right. But as far as it being a movement or anything like that, if that were going on out there, I'd be seeing something like that. What you are hearing are people saying, well, maybe if the Democrats not doing anything for us and whatnot, maybe we just need to look at individual issues. And my response to that is, okay, you can do that, but as far as a groundswell of support for the GOP, that's not really what's happening. You're just hearing people say, well, if the Democrats are the same as the Republicans, so what does it matter if I vote Democrat or Republican? And that's a fair question to ask.
Right.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 425. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good evening. This is Agnes calling from the other side of Seattle, Washington. How are you?
All right, Agnes, what's on your mind?
Hi, excellent commentary about the clown cars and the clowns and the GOP. That Bootlick and shill. Tim Scott doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting the nomination for president. His master, Nikki Haley, Nimrata Rwandawa, she doesn't have a snowball's chance either of getting the nomination. As far as what my counterpart over in the other end of Seattle talked about, as far as the B1 faction voting one way or another, I look at it this way, the same way you do. Who's going to advance our agenda, which includes reparations? With me, it's quite simple. No reparations, no vote. And that's all I wanted to say. Excellent commentary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Like I say, folks, I mean, I don't quibble or argue with people over what they want to vote for and stuff. As long as you're voting for a black agenda, as long as you're doing that. This idea, I wouldn't have a problem voting Republican if the Republicans had a whole agenda there, because the problem is, the borders, they certainly would do something about that. So what I'm saying is Republicans getting in office doesn't scare me. You can't pull out that Roland Martin, you better go vote for Biden because them Republicans are trying to scare me with that ain't going to work. That's not going to do it. I'm not scared of the Republican Party. I'm just like, I'm not scared of you. I'm just not going to sit up here and support something that's not my interest. I'm just not going to do that. That is all. But I'm not scared of you. Not even a little bit. Don't let somebody sit up here and tell you you got to vote for Biden. The GOP going to get you. And Biden's getting us now. He's getting us right now. Yeah, but Trump gonna get you worse. Okay, measure worse. Tell me, how much worse is Trump? 50%? 35%? 10%? 112%? Tell me exactly, how did you measure how much worse Trump is? What's the criterion that makes Trump, quote unquote, worse that Biden doesn't already fulfill? I mean, yeah, you so right. I mean, Biden be bad, but Trump gonna be worse though. Trump is going to be worse. How? He going to kick in your front door and eat your grandmama's feet. Really? I mean, there's some old niggas who probably really believe that. They really, truly believe. Man, if you vote for Trump now, I heard on MSNBC that if Trump gets elected, he going to come up in here. He's going to eat the feet off of me and all my little friends. Auntie, chill. Somebody come get grandma. Auntie, chill. I believe it. Oh, Lord, somebody got her an internet subscription and it's over. No, people. I'm just not scared of them, that's all. They're having a Republican bootlick lottery, and the point is my job as one of the members of the new black media to make sure that you are up to speed on what's going on out here. When you see somebody claiming to be a black Republican, just understand that's like joining a gang. That's like joining a gang. And they don't even know how to lie right. At least among the Democrats, they at least know how to lie a little bit better. So basically, the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans is the Democrats are more skilled liars and the Republicans are more clueless liars. The Democrats let the police off the damn hook too. The Republicans want to let them off, but they don't even know how to spin the lie right. Well, I mean, we turned it over to the grand jury, and the grand jury said that we can't do it. You ran the grand jury. Oh, I did? Well, I mean, they looked at the evidence. The grand jury said you didn't show it all to them. Why they snitching? So that's the problem with the Republicans. They don't even know how to tell the lie right. So at least the Democrats are putting in enough effort to be like, okay, here's how you tell a proper lie. The Republicans are like, damn it, this is whatever we're going to do. We'll just do it like this. Just do it like this. This'll work. Nobody's really watching. No one really looks. We'll be okay. Call from area code 206. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Polyamorous Mariah Reincarnated, calling from Kent, Ohio.
That's strange. I smell transsexual on the line. Is what I smell. I smell transsexual is what I smell.
Not trans. I mean, I'm gender non-binary, and I'm polyamorous, and it's the black, the pansexual, but not transsexual.
Well, it sounds like you are pan crack pipe is what it sounds like here. So, T.S. Giselle, what is on your mind?
I'm calling because I wanted to, I was browsing on YouTube and the algorithm brought up your channel, and I wanted to comment about ranked choice voting being such a way to shake up the monopoly that the Democrats and Republicans have on most of our elections, but it is the standard in Alaska and Maine. And I also wanted to mention how the movement to lower the voting age to 16 is growing beyond just Brazil and Scotland, and also potentially in Oregon, potentially.
Okay, what's your point? You want to do ranked choice voting? I mean, all right. How does that help black people?
Well, if you take a look at Alaska, ranked choice voting allows us to not be, instead of just picking one candidate, we can pick multiple. And if there are less funded candidates who we truly believe in, we can still rank them. So we can rank them, say, like, for instance, Marianne Williamson, for instance. She actually has reparations in her platform.
No, she does not.
A decent chance.
No, she does not. Marianne Williamson's.
Oh, what she did the last time.
Sir, we already discussed. Sir, ma'am, they, you, I'm not sure which pronoun to kick in here. Y'all.
All the pronouns are fine.
Okay, well, let's choose in the interest of brevity. Friend. In the interest of brevity, let me just choose one. Y'all. Just let that be the blanket term for you and whatever personalities you got talking there. For all of y'all. Marianne Williamson, our brother Marcel Dixon already confronted her about that, and no, what she was talking about was something different there. It's the same old mealy mouth thing she's always been saying. What she wants for Jewish people is not what she wants for black folk. So that's a smoke and mirrors on her part, and it always has been. She's not pushing for reparations for black people the same as the type of reparations the Jewish people got.
Oh, well, I mean, comparatively, the people who've gotten the publicity and the media limelight, there have been no other candidates who've gone into the big mainstream media limelight, and even her trying to get that into the limelight has received pushback.
Marianne Williamson will tell you that she supports reparations, and then will tell you, I don't really have an amount that we would push it for. So it could be $1 billion, it could be 50,000. So there's the problem with Marianne Williamson. She'll tell you she supports reparations, but when you start trying to dig into the specifics, it falls apart.
But I mean, as president, she wouldn't even have the power to do that. I'm messing up my words, but you know what I'm trying to say. Just by herself, she needs the Congress
unilaterally.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, I was just sorry. Somebody's over there rubbing on his butt cheeks, so it's just tell them stop that while you're on the phone. Just they can do this a little bit later.
They would need the House of Representatives and the Senate behind to get something like that passed, right?
Asian people didn't need, I mean, the Asian people had no problem getting a Stop Asian 8 bill through. Ukrainians are getting cash money. That didn't require Congress. COVID, Congress got together real quick on that. When you got all kinds of money that flows around and flies around, bailing out the banks. You got all kinds of money that floats around and flies around doesn't require a vote. Afghanistan, you got Afghan refugees over here. Where was the vote? Hell, illegal aliens. They're over here getting benefits. When was the vote held for them? So what I'm saying is wherever you got the money for the Ukrainians and the Afghans and the illegals, that didn't require a vote. Yeah, go dig in that pot for us. Go get our money out of that pot right there. That's the one I want. Whichever pot you got theirs out of, get your ass back over there and go get ours.
But we can point to the success that California is having on actually investigating how a reparations package could look like with their reparations commission that they formed.
Okay, but that's not what the president is offering. When the president starts talking like them, then we'll see about that. See, that's getting into the execution of it, and that's great. But neither Marianne Williamson nor Joe Biden are offering to do anything even close to that.
And I will say that I do believe that Oregon, Washington, and California are the best states that are in a more position to actually potentially achieve more success on whatever.
It doesn't. Okay, here's the issue. The issue is even if you could get that through Oregon, California, Washington, that's the West Coast. Those are just 3 states. We got 47 others. So
true.
This isn't just a state issue.
Well, normally people may fight for the strength. Ooh, you know what? Thank you for hearing my comments. I'm just going to listen to more of your show so another caller can get on here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, I mean, did your man start oiling you up or just what happened over there? He was talking and then just all of a sudden, did 3 of your friends come in the room and it's, I gotta go now? Was Andrew Gillum texting you? I don't understand. He was okay there for a moment. Was Andrew Gillum texting him? Did he just get a surprise text from Andrew Gillum and he's, thank you very much, I gotta go now. So, okay. All right. Yeah, y'all, what do you say? Andrew Gillum sent the word. Like, I gotta go now. So, all right. All right, man. Hey, do you, man. Do you. I ain't mad at you. Do what you do. Do what you do. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. Like I say, the Republican Party, I would say it's a joke, but it's gone from being a joke to being patent insanity. So at this point right now, and it's funny as long as they're not in power. Once they're in power, now it's dangerous. Now it's dangerous. It isn't just funny anymore. Now it's dangerous. Now it's lethal. Now there's a problem. So I want you all to be aware of that. Keep your eyes and your ears open. More coming and more due. But we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to send a special shout out here to my man B1 Media as a lifesaver. Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that, brother. To Barbara, Mr. Jules, and everybody else. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.